Welcome to a world where particles, vibrations, and light collide, a place where leading industry experts and healers come together to discuss controversial topics that will challenge your beliefs and expand your mind. From quantum physics to metaphysics, no topic is off limits, but this is not your typical podcast.
Is that the solution for the frustration? Is to be in your integrity?
Yes.
All
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Always be in your integrity. And in your integrity, you understand that it is what it is. Energy is until it's not, right? Energy is flowing into your body until it stops flowing because it becomes so clogged up, and then disease begins, right? So be in your integrity. When somebody's saying something that you totally disagree with, don't sit in your mind and go, what an idiot, right? Just say, wow, they're really convicted on how they feel. That's amazing. Bless them in their thoughts. Don't be judgmental in their thoughts. Bless them for having the power to feel the way they feel, even if it's different from you.
It's a show guaranteed to make you question your assumptions and push you to expand your horizons. For those who are already fascinated or passionate about the work of Patti Conklin, this show will give you an inside look into the mind of one of the industry's most renowned figures in vibrational mediation. With over 28 years of experience and a long list of big-name collaborations, Patti's insights and perspectives will inspire and challenge even the most seasoned practitioners. And if you're the skeptic who doesn't believe in vibrational mediation, this show is for you. Healers, doctors, and scientists are just a few of the professions represented by our fascinating visitors that bring their unique perspective to every episode. Join us on this journey into the world of healing within and adventure inside. Our mission is to inspire, challenge, and enlighten our audience with thought-provoking conversations and fascinating guests from a wide range of fields who can shed new light on important issues facing society today. Join us for each episode if you're ready to explore and learn about the latest developments at the intersection of cutting-edge science, spirituality, and self-improvement. Enter a world where waves, particles, and light all meet. Enter the world of healing within and adventure inside.
Hey everyone, it's Patti Conklin, and I am here once again with one of my dear friends, Frenesa K Hall MD. Frenesa and I have been friends and colleagues. Well, we've been friends for 26 years, but I think it took her 2 years before she had any faith in my capabilities and what I did as a human being without major skepticism. So I guess we've been colleagues for more like 24 years, but we've done shows throughout the years and just really enjoy each other's opinions and options. And we don't always agree, but we think that that's better for y'all because then you get two different sets of thoughts and ideas. And as always, go with the one that feels right for you. And so Frenesa, tell us about you for a few minutes.
Okay.
What are you up to these days?
Well, my day job these days is with a life insurance company. And so I work from home and I look at cases and help the underwriters understand the medical stuff. But if we go way, way back, I am an internist, basically a primary care doctor for adults. And I had a solo practice in Lawrenceville for 10 years that started out great, but eventually with managed care and insurance companies just becoming worse and worse, it became untenable. And so I sold that practice and started a house call practice, which I still have today. I still have actually 8 clients. Even though I live in North Carolina, I have about 8 clients in Atlanta and a couple of clients.
One of them.
A couple of clients up here. I do house calls and keep my hand in it. I have a wellness coaching program. So I really started that so that I could continue to work with people in a more meaningful way to help coach them to improve their health and wellness, and realizing that a significant part of a person's wellness starts between the ears.
Right.
And so the wellness program is working on both. That's MD Wellness Solutions. So SOULUTIONS.
Got it.
And then I'm the Chief Science Officer for Brain Health Sciences, which is a company that is promoting a product called BrainTap. That it's a brain hack. It's a way to help a person quiet their brain and tap into sort of the mindfulness, the meditative things, and calm the body down, calm the mind down.
Right.
Get into that space, not to get too spiritual, but to get into that space where you can actually tune in. And also, it has physiologic effects because you're getting out of that fight and flight kind of mode and into that restore and rest mode that helps the body heal. And it's particularly good for anxiety and stress and helping people sleep and all sorts of things, helping people get their mind right. Like I said, so much starts here. So it's really been fun working with that company and trying to get that out to people. It's brainhealthsciences.com. So that's my latest thing. I enjoy using it every day. And, in the era of COVID, with all the stress that people are under, I think that non-drug interventions that you can do on your own are ideal. And so I think this is something that many, many people would benefit from. And that's why I'm excited to be promoting it. And then, of course, doing things with you. We've done a few shows this year, and which is always fun.
Yeah.
And you're right. There is no one size fits all approach to whatever you have. And so hearing different points of view and different ways to approach things is always good. And you find one that resonates for you. And then, of course, you have to take the responsibility to actually do things.
Right.
We talk about all the time.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm glad we're back doing some more.
Getting some more done. Yeah. Folks can find this show on Binge Network, on our Healing Within and Adventure Inside channel, and also the website. And I don't know if you're going to post it somewhere, but certainly those two. And if you know Frenesa, not me, you can just contact her directly and take care of it that way. But you'll find us, age of COVID. I want to talk about aging parents because I think that's important. I mean, I lost my parents in 2010 and 2014. But yours has been a lot more recent in terms of aging parents and your partner's parents and so forth. And I think about all of the people who lost parents in 2020 and so far this year to COVID, and not just other modalities or symptoms or diseases, whatever. How do you work with aging parents these days?
I think COVID has presented a big challenge for all of us. And when we look at issues with elderly people, social isolation is one of the biggest problems before COVID.
Right.
And so when we throw COVID into the mix, people that are frequently socially isolated become completely isolated. And so it takes more planning, more effort and intention for the children and friends and surrounding community of aging people in general, and of course our own aging parents, to be more mindful of, well, what needs do they have during this very isolating time, not to mention the fear that they may have, going into it. I mean, a lot of people are fearful, and of course, fear doesn't help us.
No, not at all.
Physiologically, but
sure.
But I think that what we have to do is we have to be more intentional and mindful of doing things actively to support aging parents. I think that, the technology, we need to leverage technology.
Yeah.
Like right now we're Zooming and we're able
Yeah.
to see each other and chat, and using things like Zoom or an iPad. Obviously, depending on that aging parent, they may or may not be able to manage an iPad. So my partner's mother cannot manage an iPad,
Right.
but her son and daughter-in-law live with her. And so when outside people want to do something, they contact him and then they can FaceTime.
Right.
So she's been able to see her second great, no, third great grandchild
Oh, wow.
that lives, halfway across the country,
Yeah.
and actually see him periodically.
Right.
So, that's something that's easy.
What if we've got an aging parent in a nursing home? I mean, I know that, being an OMA, I've got little munchkins running around, and, by age 2 and 3, they were able to master technology enough to FaceTime me and interrupt me in the middle of meetings and so forth. They had that going on for them. But, when you've got someone who's in a nursing home and technology isn't all of that, maybe you can get them the iPad, but maybe they can't set it up, and nursing staff, we know, is short in so many homes. So, what are steps that can be taken to help ease that social isolation away from family?
Well, the telephone.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go back to the basics.
Go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Creating so my friend Carol, she has 3 little kids, and they drew cards and pictures and brought them over
Nice.
when my mother-in-law was staying here, and so, things like that, they can have them on the wall, or, send pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go low tech as well.
Right.
And if you send something, periodically, send a care package with a few more pictures of, this is what, little Johnny did.
Right.
Recently.
Right.
Those are things that help keep people engaged. Right now that we're able to actually spend time with people.
Yeah.
Then I think, taking the time to visit, getting, if you have cousins in the area, for instance, getting them to drop by. We were playing cards, earlier. You can play dominoes. You can listen to music. Nowadays with Spotify and, Apple Music and whoever, you can play
Says
music.
The musician. Says the musician.
Yes.
Music's always going to be going.
But you can listen to music from an era that they recognize.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
You can play some big band music and ask them. So last night, we asked my mother-in-law, did she ever see any of the big bands? And she saw, I can't remember who it was she saw, but it was somebody, it was like how they played saxophone, Moonlight Serenade, whoever the band, Glenn Miller. And she saw Glenn Miller.
Wow.
She was like 16 or 20 years old. So you can engage a person that way and kind of meet them where they are. And I think that's one of the really important things that just takes a little time. Even if you're just visiting and you're just you're both reading a book, but there's somebody else in the room.
Right.
Children and pets do wonders. Little kids coming over and, just watching them play is joyful.
Right.
And, and if you have a dog that's, friendly and whatever, I mean, that's, always a plus.
Yeah.
So, these are just some ideas to try to just stimulate that person.
Yeah.
And then there are always the basic things to help. So getting that person up and moving. They can't just sit in a chair all day.
What?
No,
what?
You can't do it. So like today, they took my mother-in-law to the park.
Yeah.
And then they wheeled her around the Arboretum and then sat and just out in nature.
And got out.
You know, got some fresh air, got some sunshine, got to see something other than the four walls.
Right.
You know, and that doesn't take a lot of effort. You know, it's like 2 miles, not even, it's a mile away.
Yeah.
And I think those kinds of things done, you know, not every day, but if you could do that once a week or, you know, a couple of times a week or whatever, get different people to, you know, just do something. Matter of fact, in the height of COVID, when we were really on lockdown, we'd just get in the car and drive out in the country.
Yeah.
We'd just drive around, and we'd literally drive around for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to get out.
To get out and just to see something different.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is really useful, I just found this streaming service called Curiosity something. Curiosity something. I'll look
Curiosity something. Okay.
Yeah. But it's all documentaries, and they cover all sorts of topics, you know, whether it's science or music or nature or whatever. And so, you know, there's one I was watching on whales, and it was only an hour, but it's so Curiosity Stream. But it was, you know, beautifully done, and it was really informative and interesting. And, you know, I think things like that, if the person has a particular interest, you know, instead of just regular TV, because, you know, regular TV can get really old. And I also think that it doesn't necessarily really speak to a person that's 80 or 90.
Yeah.
Now, maybe, you know, but I think
in my own defense, I have to say that Stargate is ageless. So, you know, people in their 80s and 90s, I mean, you used to give me heck all the time, because no matter when you came over, I had
it was
Stargate.
Always on.
Always on. Always in the background. No,
I know. I remember.
You know, I think that those are really important aspects to, you know, keep the mind going, whether it's, you know, curiosity or whether it's taking them out in the park or whatever. And I think people need to be creative. I mean, certainly, you know, when COVID was going through my family, you know, sons got it and the babies got it and wives got it, and everybody was just kind of like doing their own thing. I've always had weaker lungs. And so we weren't around each other. Mm-hmm. And even though I'm pretty active and getting out and about and so on, we had a long period of time over the holidays where we weren't together and we weren't Skyping. I mean, the kids would FaceTime some, but I really noticed it. Even, you know, as a younger aging parent, my sons would say I'm definitely an aging parent, but as a younger aging parent, I think that the stress level of the restriction and also, you know, pre-existing conditions, are we going to like see the end of that so we can kind of go back to aging parents? That's a loaded question, I know, but are we going to create some sort of normalcy where, you know, being with, you know, I mean, I look back at last 100 years, 200 years, whatever. Grandparents lived with the children and children lived with their children, and, you know, and it was multi-generational living within a home. And for a while, we went away from that. And then we kind of came back into that multi-generational, not so much in the United States. I think other parts of the world probably more so.
Last year, I think a lot, well, if nothing else, a lot of children came home.
Yeah, very much.
So, you know, with loss of income and so forth. I think that we continue to learn more and more about this virus, and when we have a better understanding of it, then we'll be able to know how to mitigate it. Mm-hmm. You know, there are practitioners out there that are treating people frontline, and they come up with some protocols with nutritional things like vitamin D and such. And, you know, there are ongoing studies looking at different things that we might be able to do to help prevent it, to help treat it if we have mild disease, something to do, and also to protect if we're exposed, then something we can take to help prevent getting it. So, time really does help. And I think that, it's hurry up and wait because we want to know now, but we don't, and we have to be patient. And, but I think that it's a perfect segue into, well, what can you do, and what can you help your aging parent do? And it gets back to the basics. I actually jotted some notes earlier so that I wouldn't forget things, but
Because you're only 6.
because I'm only what?
Because you're only 6 years old. As a 6-year-old, you've got to kind of remember things. Yeah. I'm going to have fun on your birthday this year.
Yes, I know you are.
Just saying. All right. Keep going. I'm still older than you. I'll forever be older than you. But
yeah, but you're gonna love. I know. I can hear it now. So it gets us back to those basic things, because the body is designed to defend itself and to heal itself. We have to stop poisoning it and doing things that weaken it. And so if we can help ourselves, and our aging parents really pay attention to and adopt more and more of the things we know help the body work well.
right.
And, if you're stronger and you get COVID, then you can withstand it better. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you're, if we can get our immune system optimally working, maybe we don't get it at all. But what we do know is when we don't eat right, get enough rest, et cetera, we weaken our immune system and we get sick. And
Right.
we've done it to ourselves, all the time. So got my little list of things. One, encourage the healthy habits. Eat better. Avoid the refined carbs and the sweets, or minimize them. They bought cheesecake for dinner tonight. I'm going to have a piece, but I'm not going to have a piece, every day.
No. No.
So, eat, make sure, this is really important for elderly people. They have to eat enough protein, because you'll see a lot of elderly people where they're just losing muscle, so you have to eat enough protein, and you have to exercise. You have to get up and you have to move every day. It's definitely move it or lose it. And we know that exercise helps you sleep better, helps you feel vibrant and stronger, helps your immune system. Another area is hydration. Hydration is really important. If you're dehydrated, nothing works well.
Right.
Mucous membranes get dried out, and that makes them less robust to withstand, some kind of infection. So you want to stay hydrated, and hydration helps the body do all of the metabolic things it needs to do. I mean, we're 70 or 80% water.
Right.
We need to get fresh water in every day.
Yeah.
We have to get adequate amounts of sleep. Okay. Not, I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's like, no, you'll be dead sooner if you don't sleep.
That's right. That's right.
So, and it's a habit, like brushing your teeth. So I decided that I was going to get 7 hours of sleep every day. So I get up at 5:45, but I go to bed at 10. That's, and I know from past experience, being a doctor and being on call and being a resident, that when I didn't get sleep, if I went long enough, I got sick. Every time, not sometimes, every time. And so sleep is critical. It's critical for all sorts of things. And we're going to do a segment on sleep, in more detail, but you have to encourage that person to go to bed at a reasonable time. And then if you need a nap in the middle of the day, take a little half-hour nap. Don't sleep too long, though, because that has a bad effect. But a 30-minute cat nap kind of a deal, it's great. One of the most basic things that we can do is to make sure our vitamin D level is at 50. We know that vitamin D plays a very important role for our immune system. I read something about vitamin D helping block the virus from attaching to cells. I don't remember the details about it. I read it a bit ago, but I've been promoting vitamin D for decades.
Yeah.
And now I'm just promoting it harder because we know it's important for the immune system. It is cheap, it's simple, it's easy, and there's not going to be a downside to taking it. So I'm recommending right now at least 2,000 IUs a day. But more importantly, get your level checked.
Yeah.
It's a blood test. It's covered by insurance. Get your level done and get and your goal is to get it to 50.
Right.
And 2,000 IUs a day is cheap and easy. And those are really kind of those basic things that are easy to do. And we just have to do them. And we should be doing them anyway.
Right. Right.
But we want to help support our elderly person in our lives to do those things. So buy them some vitamin D. It comes in gummies.
Yeah.
It comes in liquid, comes in capsules. So if they complain, I want to take another pill. Fine. Here's a gummy.
Right.
Fine. Here's some liquid. So there's no excuses.
Put it in some water, put it in some juice, and just have it done. Yeah.
And so, but helping, if you are shopping for that person, well, don't buy a bunch of crap, get some vegetables, get some lean meat, have a tofu night, have a vegetarian night, have salads and things, a nice variety, the things that we should be doing ourselves, but promote that because oftentimes elderly people are living alone.
Right.
And so, having some, easy solutions for them to eat.
Right.
Also, there are some fabulous services out there. Now, there's some of them a little bit pricey, but it's cheaper than throwing food out.
And even family who wants to, nice thunder here.
Yeah.
Even families who want to distance themselves from an aging parent, because of COVID or other diseases or illnesses, cold, flu, whatever, meal prep for them and knock on their door and let them know that it's there and walk away and just, have it easy for them. I think that, we
Absolutely.
and in good food, I like that you're saying, don't get rid of all of the, little sinful delights here. I remember when we were neighbors, once or twice a year, one of us would get up like 6 o'clock in the morning and go up to our favorite donut place and get donuts and then drop off at, everybody's houses. And that was just a fun thing to do. And so, we didn't do it very often, but it was a treat when we did. Just like, having a sweets or
some dark chocolate or
because dark chocolate's good for us, right?
It's important, but you just can't eat junk in large amounts all the time. It's common sense.
Yeah.
I like ice cream and I eat ice cream occasionally. I did find something called Daily Harvest. This company, ice cream, but there's no cream in it.
Right.
It's like sweet potato puree, avocado, and all these other vegetables.
We love our avocados. Mushrooms. Yeah.
It sounds really terrible, but it actually tastes pretty good. Now it still has calories, okay, so you can't go wild on it, but it doesn't have sugar. It doesn't have dairy, but you can find those little things. I tell you what works great. Those little teeny Dove nuggets.
Right.
Ice cream,
The dark chocolate one.
Big.
Yep.
Perfect. It's a tiny little treat. It's enough to give you a little, but not enough to, really cause some problem.
Right.
So you can satisfy that urge. Or, Hershey's Kisses. You get a couple of those. So there are all sorts of ways that you can indulge that sweet tooth
Yeah.
without,
Yeah.
breaking the bank.
Yeah. So in the last couple of minutes that we have here, let's summarize.
Okay.
Be in touch with your aging parent, whether whether they're living with you or not living with you.
Yeah.
Have the same amount of contact.
Right. Low tech or high tech.
Yeah, low tech or high tech. Phone still works well.
Yep.
And do meal prep for them.
Yep.
if you need to, but really look at, I think look at what their nutritional intake is.
Yeah.
And also keep an eye out for any changes in behavior.
Yeah.
Or, sleeping spells or things like that throughout the course of the day. Really just, I think making notes, on a daily basis, kind of keeping a daily journal and encouraging them, if they're able, to write into that daily journal about how they're feeling
and what they did, what they ate. Encourage them to get up and move.
Yeah.
Sometimes a protein supplement, whether it's a protein bar or protein powder. Actually, I summarized some recommendations for vitamin D, and protein powder and protein bars. I think it's going to be attached to the book.
It is.
A link that goes with this.
Sandra wrote it up today.
And a link to my web supplement store where people can purchase high quality products.
Right.
And there's a 10% off the first purchase coupon discount code as well.
Right.
It's really, it is important to, and this is a whole nother series. We need to have quality.
We've had that quality of of supplements.
You don't want to just
go to the grocery store and get it off the counter.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know what you're getting.
Right.
And so I've made that available. So vitamin D, liquid, a gummy, capsule.
My gummy is my sweet tooth. I use that, the vitamin D and the vitamin C gummies. I use that because I'm not a huge sweets person like someone I know. But I do, like that. So that's kind of my treat before I go to sleep is to have that.
I mean, the idea is to make it easy. And the caretaker, they need to do these things too.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that you're not sick and not, bringing something to, your elderly loved one.
Right.
And if that means, I don't want to get into the no mask debate.
Right.
But what I want to say is that an elderly person, particularly one that has other conditions, diabetes, obesity, other medical issues, they're high risk for dying and being very ill if they get this.
Right.
And so while you may not believe in wearing masks or whatever, it might be worth considering just to go that extra step to try to make sure that you don't bring something into the environment of the elderly person that you care.
Right.
You might even want to, gargle with peroxide before you go, because you go to the dentist, you have to gargle with peroxide before they work on you.
Right.
The peroxide will beat down and kill viruses, in short term, but that's something that you could do. And you want to wash your hands and, and all those things. But the last thing you want to do is infect an elderly person who may not survive.
Yeah.
If they get it. And so, this isn't, this isn't a judgment about wearing a mask or not wearing a mask.
Right.
It's just elderly need extra precaution because they're not 20 years old and likely to bounce back.
Right.
And
our body goes through a very natural aging process. I mean, we start at the moment of conception and we have an endpoint. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Let's not rush it.
but let's not rush it. Yeah, that's where I was going to go with that. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me today in talking about aging parents and all of our other good stuff, all the other good information in here. And we'll be back with another show here real soon, folks. So excellent. Thank you so much for joining me, Frenesa Hall MD. There's just something awesome about that. And
be sure to check the attachment under the
that's right. It's all written up and ready to go.
Yeah, you can download it. It's quick and easy.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. Welcome to a world where particles, vibrations, and light collide. A place where leading industry experts and healers come together to discuss controversial topics that will challenge your beliefs and expand your mind. From quantum physics to metaphysics, no topic is off limits. But this is not your typical podcast.
And that's what's so critical. What you're thinking is still going inside of your body. Just because you don't say the words doesn't mean that it's not so, because you still think, right? And so we've gotten to the point where, well, as long as I keep my mouth shut, I'm okay. No, you're not. You're still storing up your body. You are still putting emotions in your body because of your need to be right. And if we have no right or wrong, then what is? And that's all there is, right? It's either energy or it's not. Whether you're speaking the words, whether you're thinking the words, whether you're thinking it, still matters.
It's a show guaranteed to make you question your assumptions and push you to expand your horizons. For those who are already fascinated or passionate about the work of Patti Conklin, this show will give you an inside look into the mind of one of the industry's most renowned figures in vibrational mediation. With over 28 years of experience and a long list of big-name collaborations, Patti's insights and perspectives will inspire and challenge even the most seasoned practitioners. And if you're the skeptic who doesn't believe in vibrational mediation, this show is for you. Healers, doctors, and scientists are just a few of the professions represented by our fascinating visitors that bring their unique perspective to every episode. Join us on this journey into the world of healing within and adventure inside. Our mission is to inspire, challenge, and enlighten our audience with thought-provoking conversations and fascinating guests from a wide range of fields who can shed new light on important issues facing society today. Join us for each episode if you're ready to explore and learn about the latest developments at the intersection of cutting-edge science, spirituality, and self-improvement. Enter a world where waves, particles, and light all meet. Enter the world of healing within and adventure inside.